Hey y'all, welcome to our next episode of Adventures with Aggie, brought to you by Coco's Coffee House. Go check them out, 175 Bleecker Street in Greenwich Village. Today we're speaking with Alexander Binderis. He's a professional handball player. He's going to tell us about the rules of handball, his story, the role of his dad in his handball career, and what he's working on now. So please welcome Alexander. Alexander, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited you're here. It's nice to meet you. I guess let's just kind of start. Can you give me some background on who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Like my name is Alexander Binderis, and I'm a team handball player. Born in Stockholm, Sweden, and grew up in a big handball family. Like my dad played handball, coached handball, and then I'm the oldest. But then it started off with my brother. He started playing handball as well, and my sister and my mom's helping my sister's team with all that. And besides handball, I currently study IT media and design in Stockholm. And the past year I've lived in the Netherlands and been able to do my study my last year for my bachelor's down here because of COVID.
Awesome. I love that. Sports family, it seems, which is really fun. I guess, can you kind of go backtrack a little bit? How did
Yeah,
you first get into handball? Like, what was kind of your first memory, first like touch of the sport?
it was like maybe watching my dad play a lot and also coach me to be involved in a lot of different team sports. Uh, so I started playing soccer in the beginning, and then it headed more towards team handball. It was inside, didn't rain, so it's kind of more nice to be able to practice inside, and also having the opportunity to practice all year round. Uh, and I've kind of fell in love with handball through my dad and his passion for it with coaching and playing, and that's kind of how it took off, and then it ended up him being my coach as well. So yeah.
That's awesome. I had my dad coached my softball team when I was little, and that was quite an experience, but super fun. I think having your dad there to kind of push you along and be there with you through the whole ride is really fun. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
But also like during dinners and all that, like we talked handball all the time, watched handball, went to handball games. So it's been
yeah,
a lot of handball.
yeah. No, that's awesome. So I guess at what point did you realize like this was your thing? It's going to stick, and I'm going to keep doing this until now.
Oof, been playing handball for quite some time. So, but I think it was just like everything about the sport, like the technical aspect, but also the power that you need to be able to play, and just like working both those things, and also playing in a team with like getting that team spirit as you have in every team. Uh, but basically, just like all the sides, the power and the technical side of handball, I thought was really fun and challenging as well.
Definitely. I realize now a lot of my listeners probably don't know what handball is. Can you kind of give a brief overview? I know this week we had episodes in wheelchair rugby, and Joe did a great job of trying to explain what that is because I don't think people know that exists. But can you kind of give a brief overview of handball?
Oof, it's kind of hard, but basically it's a little bit bigger than a basketball court, and instead of baskets, you have goals, smaller goals and soccer goals. Uh, and then of course you have two teams, and you have kind of a football, like a soccer ball, but a smaller one. And you have the 6 meter line, that's 6 meters from the goal on each side. And you cannot step inside of that. So you have to either jump outside of the 6 meter line to be able to score. That's maybe my best effort into describing handball as a sport.
Sounds great. It sounds great to me. I feel like this is something they tried to teach us in school, like in middle school PE or something like that, and it didn't stick, but it was fun when I tried it. But
Yeah.
no,
But
great.
it is a hard sport. I know there's a lot of debate like, okay, can these basketball players can they start playing handball at, I don't know, 20 years old or whatever because they're tall and they're big and fast and all that. But it's pretty much the, like very different from basketball. Even though you have the physical aspects, it's very a different coordination and different technique, and also it's more, I would say, more body hits and more power in one sense.
Definitely. Yeah, I applaud you. I don't think I could do it, but it's fun to watch for sure. And I do think those pieces of content like YouTube videos and stuff where it's like an NFL player or something tries to do volleyball for the day or something like that. It's always interesting to see if they can, like, I guess turn off their switch and turn on a new one for a different sport.
Yeah.
But awesome. I appreciate the explanation as well. But let's kind of go into your favorite things. So, what's your favorite memory playing handball? Is there a game or something that sticks out to you?
Oof, my favorite memory, I would say, playing for the first club I played in, because we played from when we were about 5 6 years old up until almost 18 years old. Uh, and we have a lot of good memories together as a team, and we're basically just one big family, and still. Um, and I think we went on this one tournament. We got invited to the tournament because one of the teams that were supposed to be there, they pulled out in the last second. So then our team that wasn't really qualified for this tournament, we got an invitation and said, yeah, why not? And ended up we going down there in south of Sweden from Stockholm, and we ended up winning. And yeah, we were down by like 10 goals after the first half, and then kind of came back and we won before the last second. So it was a crazy tournament and maybe one of my best memories.
That's so fun. That makes the win more, I guess, more exciting, more meaningful, right? When you weren't supposed to be there, but it happened anyway, which is awesome.
Yeah, like the whole underdog story,
Yes,
going there and beating all the
yes,
better teams. So
definitely. Everybody loves an underdog story. Those are so
yeah.
awesome. So I have to ask you a COVID question since everybody's asking COVID questions. How did COVID affect your training? What have you been up to the last year? How have you kind of made that work?
Yeah, it's like it's hasn't been a lot of handball this past year, and that has kind of shifted the focus on more strength and more conditioning type of training. Uh, so I had the chance to work on that side of handball. I have, I think, three knee surgeries, two ACLs and one meniscus, and now I've had kind of the chance to work on my lower body and try to get that sorted out and build up on that. But then also my overall body to get in the best physical shape I can be in, and also having the opportunity to put on some extra weight because I'm playing pivot and I'm not the tallest pivot. I'm one 187 centimeters, 1 meter and 87 centimeters. So I'm not the tallest one, so I got to compensate in that way. So I've had the chance to gain some weight and build some muscle. So that's been perfect in that sense. But then, like, you want to play handball, and yeah, hasn't been really an option for some time. But yeah,
Definitely. I mean, of course, athletes want to play their sport, right? And like when things are put on pause, that's hard. But I feel like every time I ask this question to any kind of athlete, it's like I kind of needed the pause, like for my body, because like otherwise, like you just go, go, go all the time. And you can be like that during quarantine if you want to. But I've had so many people say, like, yeah, I stopped and I needed to heal. like my body just needed that, and I needed to do kind of rehab and physical therapy, like what you're saying. I did the same thing. I had a surgery last year, and I was like, all right, now's the time to fix my shoulder. So
Yeah.
I think that's really good. And even though it wasn't great all the time, the last year wasn't awesome. Yeah, I think it was good for the bodies, maybe not the mind, but the body. The body
Yeah.
needed rest.
But
But
one hard thing also with this situation has been like, okay, now we can play handball, and then we play handball for a couple of months. We practice, play some games, and then everything just stops, and then you don't have handball for like
yeah.
1-2 months,
Hmm.
and then you're not like, okay, am I training for next week or like
Right.
next month or 2 months? So it's been hard to like put up the training in that in the right way to be ready when you actually can start playing again. So that's kind of been a mental difficult part, just trying to like how much weight can I put on the rack today, because I don't know if we have practice tomorrow or a game
Yeah.
this weekend or whatever. So that's been kind of weird. And then also like when we know, okay, we're gonna start this day, you're working a lot in the gym and you're not ready to play actual handball. So I've had a couple of incidents with some injuries getting back into handball after these 2-3 months that we haven't had any handball at all. So that's kind of been difficult and trying to get used to handball and all that. But like at the end of the day, like I'm feeling good now, and everybody's in the same situation, so it's all good.
Definitely. I think athletes are very goal oriented, right? Like you see the finish line, whether the finish line is an actual finish line or it's a game or it's a match or a tournament or whatever you're working up to. And I think that's been a real test, kind of like what you're talking about with the mental side of things in the last year, because you don't know what you're going to do next. You don't know when the next match is or anything. Hopefully now we kind of do,
Yeah.
and things are starting to open up. But 6 months ago, I couldn't imagine. I don't know, I have fun with my yoga mat and lifting whatever I can to work out in my apartment, but that's only good for so long. So,
Yeah.
but awesome. Let's kind of go into, I guess, what you're passionate about. I know you're a photographer, an avid photographer. So can you kind of talk about? We're already kind of speaking about the mental side of sport anyway, but how do you balance your sport with things you like and just making sure that you're well rounded?
Yeah, it's like besides handball, I study, so that consumes a lot of time during the weeks. So, but besides that, I also like I'm studying graphic design. One part is graphic design at least, and I love graphic design and the creative part of that. You just take a step away from handball for a while and just get some time to breathe, and also try to work your mind in a different way. I think that helps a lot with the sport you're playing as well, to be more creative on the field when you step on court. Uh, but then also photography is one of like more hobby photography, but I'm starting to get trying to get like more professional with it. Uh, but that's also like just enjoying the moment and relaxing, and also like living abroad, not living in your home country, to try to document as much as possible, uh, and suck in all this Dutch vibes that we have down here. And yeah, I think it's nice. I go for a lot of walks with a couple of the guys from the teams, and they're like, "Hey, let's go out for a walk." And I always bring my camera, and it always ends up them being like 100 yards in front of me, just because I always stop everywhere and try to take a picture and like really enjoy the moment and the things that I see here. Uh, so that's like a good relaxation for me. Uh, but then I also like headed towards more analog photography since I came down here as well, and that's kind of even slowed it down even more. So that's been great. But that's basically my passions.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I applaud photographers. I took one photography class at NYU, and I was in the dark room like every second of free time I was in there trying to figure out. It was trial and error, like I didn't know what I was doing. We had class once a week and she was like, oh, just figure it out. And you can't just figure it out without hours and hours of time. But no, that's so great. I'm also the person that takes the camera on walks and tries to document things, because especially now I think we realize like don't take anything for granted,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
trying to soak in the moment and stuff, whether that's documenting your teammates way far ahead of you or something beautiful in a way. But
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love the balance too, because you need it.
yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Let's see. I wanted to ask you about your dad. So do you see yourself coaching like your dad one day? Or I guess where do you see that going?
I don't know. Like my dad's my hardest critic, except myself. And I get a lot of input and a lot of handball knowledge from him. And we talk after every single game and talk about details and all that. And I just realize how much he actually knows about handball and his philosophy around it. So I feel I'm kind of way from that in one sense. But then, like, you never know. Maybe I want to coach someday or something. But at the moment, I'm really not thinking about it. It's more focused on playing and making the best out of that, and then whatever it comes. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's I think it's a big step from being a player to being a coach, and taking care of all the guys in the team. So we'll see what happens.
Definitely. No rush. I'm not trying to rush you out of your playing days. But yeah, no, I think that is true. It's a big change, and people think, oh, you play, you can be a coach too. But there's a lot that goes into each of those things that you have to learn in order to transition in and out. But
Yeah.
maybe one day we'll see. I'll touch base with you in a few years, see what happens.
Absolutely.
But awesome. I guess this is kind of more of a broader question, but for those people who don't know lots about handball, maybe your description of handball was the first time they've ever heard of it. How do you suggest people kind of get involved and learn more about the sport?
I think the Champions League in handball, I think that website is more like you got to register and then you can watch some Champions League games for free. So that would be maybe one thing you could look up if you want to learn more about handball and see a couple of games, and also see like the best games that you can see with handball. And then I think like just trying to trying to search on YouTube and whatever for different videos and like what it is. I think that could help a lot, because I don't think my description of handball was the best. I don't think everybody understands that one, but
No.
yeah, search for handball on YouTube, and I think you'll get hooked.
Awesome. I love it. I know I was, after even just looking at things to ask you for this interview. I was like, wow, I would have watched this more. But I was on the Champions League website as well, and I think they do a really good job of it. Um, Great. Well, wrapping up here, what's next? What are you focused on? What are you working on right now?
Hey, right now I'm finishing my last assignment for school. I'm trying to get my bachelor's. So I'm graduating, I think 4th of June. So I'm really looking forward to that, and then also preparing for next season, um, and hopefully playing more handball next season and getting more into the normal again. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm focused on next season and trying to make the best out of that, and also trying to plan what am I going to do besides handball next season. Should I study some Dutch and learn that, or should I don't know, take it easy for a while, or we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's going to be fun.
Awesome. I'm excited to see what happens, but I'm congratulations on graduating too. That's exciting. I'm also graduating in a month, so big time, big time. It's fun. Great. Last question for you. I end all of my shows on advice. So, what is one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self?
Whoa.
If
This
you
is a
have
hard
more
one.
than one, that's totally fine.
I would maybe say like enjoy the moment and enjoy the times when you can actually relax and don't stress too much. That would probably be it. Because a lot of point, like in a lot of times, I get pretty much stressed over nothing, and just like calm down, enjoy the moment, and relax when you actually have the time to relax. Don't think about all this other stuff. Just yeah, take your time and be calm.
I agree. I think now the things I stressed out about in middle school or something, I'm like, why? That wasn't a big deal. you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, awesome advice. Thank you so much for sharing your story. This has been great. It's nice to meet you. And I'm wishing you the best.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Alexander, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Tune in on Monday for Adventures with Aggie's coaching series. We're going to talk with 6 different coaches from 6 different sports and learn about their stories and why they coach. So tune in next week.